I'm covering everything you need to know about how Captain America the First Avenger fits within the Marvel timeline in one short video. This is the Jam Punch Ultimate Guide to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, recapping every movie and TV show. Welcome, my name is George. So, first things first, when in the timeline? Captain America the First Avenger is set first in the entire MCU timeline, before any other movie or TV show. Which characters? Steve Rogers, aka Captain America, Bucky Barnes, Johann Schmidt, aka Red Skull, Howard Stark, Peggy Carter, Armin Zola, Nick Fury. Anything else? The Tesseract, a powerful cube that contains one of the 6 Infinity Stones. S.H.I.E.L.D. vs. Hydra. Both organisations are mentioned. This is where we're introduced to SSR, the Strategic Scientific Reserve, which later becomes S.H.I.E.L.D. The story. Present day Arctic. Scientists find an old frozen aircraft. 1942, Norway. Nazi officer Johann Schmidt steals the Tesseract. But wait, who is Johann Schmidt? AKA Red Skull, one of the main people behind Hydra. Powers include being a genius strategist, hand-to-hand combat, a marksman, and super evil, being a Nazi and all. And what's the Tesseract? A cube within a cube that contains one of the 6 Infinity Stones, specifically the Space Stone, allowing the user to teleport. New York City. The US Army rejects Steve Rogers for health problems. Who is Steve Rogers? AKA Captain America. Powers include super strength, speed, toughness, hand-to-hand combat, and a near-indestructible shield made of vibranium. But that comes later. Scientist Dr. Erskine allows Rogers to enlist in the super soldier experiment through SSR, joining Colonel Phillips and British agent Peggy Carter. During a training exercise, Rogers jumps on an unexploded grenade, intending to sacrifice himself to save his fellow soldiers, convincing Colonel Phillips of his bravery. Dr. Erskine reveals to Rogers that Schmidt took the procedure too, but it failed and scarred him with permanent side effects. Erskine begins the procedure on Rogers, dosing him with Vita rays and injecting him with a serum. Rogers emerges more muscular, with super strength and an enhanced combat ability. Meanwhile, Schmidt's and Dr. Armin Zola's plan for the Tesseract is to use its power to dominate the world by fueling Dr. Zola's inventions. They dispatch assassin Heinz Kruger to kill Erskine, who succeeds, but then gets captured by Rogers. Kruger avoids interrogation by committing suicide. US Senator Brandt urges Rogers to tour the country wearing the Captain America costume to improve morale. Scientists also study Rogers' body to rediscover Erskine's now lost formula. Later, Rogers learns that his friend Barnes could be dead when his unit went MIA after a battle against Schmidt. He refuses to believe that Barnes is dead, so asks Agent Carter and engineer Howard Stark to secretly fly him behind enemy lines to rescue Barnes. He infiltrates Schmidt's Hydra fortress and confronts Schmidt himself, seeing his red skull-like head. Rogers saves Barnes and Schmidt escapes. Using his engineering prowess, Stark equips Rogers with a more suitable combat gear, including the iconic shield made of vibranium, a rare, nearly indestructible metal. Rogers recruits Barnes, Dum Dum Dugan, and others to attack other Hydra bases. They capture Dr. Zola from a train, but Barnes falls from the train to his apparent death. Zola reveals the location of Hydra's last fortress and Schmidt's plan to use weapons of mass destruction against American cities, so Rogers goes after Schmidt. He climbs onto Schmidt's plan where they fight. Schmidt physically handles the now broken Tesseract, causing an explosion of bright light which dissolves him. The Tesseract burns through the plane and gets lost in the ocean below. Rogers, sacrificing himself again, crashes the plane into the Arctic ice to save the targeted American cities and says his final goodbye to Carter. Later, Stark recovers the Tesseract from the ocean but can't find Rogers. Rogers awakes in a 1940s-style hospital room. He runs outside and sees that he is actually in present-day New York. S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury appears, telling Rogers that he has been asleep for 70 years, and proposes his grand worldwide plan. So a quick recap: villain, Red Skull, steals Tesseract to dominate the world. Steve Rogers refused enlistment into the army, but volunteers for scientific experiment and becomes a super soldier. Government makes him tour to boost morale. Baddie assassin kills goodie Dr. Erskine, super soldier formula lost. Cap's friend Bucky Barnes missing in action, so Cap rescues him. Cap gets vibranium shield, goes after Red Skull. Red Skull touches Tesseract, dies. Cap sacrifices himself to save the world from bombs, gets frozen, gets saved 70 years later. Next episode, I'll recap the next story in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Agent Carter, so make sure you subscribe to Jam Punch and click that bell. My name is George, and I'll see you next episode.